by any standards, even by the standards of this long-running feud between the Daniel and Lyons family, which dates back almost 25 years.
They thought they had escaped Glasgow's underworld, trading the gray drizzle and narrow alleyways for the Spanish sun and the promise of a quieter life. But when old enemies carry long memories, paradise can quickly become a hunting ground. Two men were killed in a seaside bar hundreds of miles from home, under the watchful eyes of locals who never suspected the darkness that followed them. And behind the silence, the same ghost that had haunted Scotland for decades remained alive, ready to remind the world that the past never forgets. Every street, every corner, every sunlit terrace held a hidden danger for those who thought they were free. These men had tried to reinvent themselves, leaving behind the violence, the fear, and the feuds. But the chains of their past lives were not easily broken, and in the criminal underworld, geography is never protection. Before we dive into the chilling story of Glasgow's gangsters on the Costa del Sol, make sure to subscribe to Crime Cipher and hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the hidden world of crime. Today, we uncover a tale of revenge, old grudges, and violence that crossed borders, from the gray streets of Glasgow to the sunny beaches of Spain. This is a story of betrayal, murder, and a criminal feud that refuses to die, no matter where the players run. The sun was setting over Fuengirola, casting a golden haze across the Mediterranean, as families strolled along the boardwalk and laughter echoed across the beachfront. Tourists sipped beer and enjoyed the evening air, unaware that danger was closing in just a few streets away. At Manhan's bar, the atmosphere shifted suddenly, tension invisible but deadly. At precisely 6 p.m., a sleek black car slid into view, and within moments, gunfire erupted, sharp and sudden. Glass shattered, screams filled the air, and two men, Ross Monaghan and Eddie Lyons Jr., were down, caught in a crossfire from which there was no escape. The gunman vanished into the narrow alleys before anyone could react, leaving chaos, confusion, and terror in his wake. Witnesses described the attack as swift and precise, the work of a professional who knew exactly what he was doing, someone who had planned every moment with chilling calculation. For locals, it seemed like random violence in a tourist town, a shocking anomaly in an otherwise peaceful evening. But anyone familiar with Glasgow's criminal underworld recognized the pattern instantly. This was far from random. Every detail, the timing, the approach, the method, screamed revenge, a calculated act planned and executed across borders. Every bullet fired in Fuengirola carried the echoes of old debts, betrayals, and grudges dating back decades in Postle Park and Maryhill. It was more than murder. It was a warning, a message that the past never forgets. And vengeance is relentless, able to leap over oceans to find its mark. Ross Monaghan, 41, had survived multiple attempts on his life in Scotland, including a brazen daylight shooting outside a school in 2017. He had learned the hard way that no place was truly safe, moving constantly, changing homes, phones, and routines to stay one step ahead. In Spain, he appeared to be building a quieter life, helping British expats with car rentals and property deals, attending local events, and blending into the sunshine-drenched expat community. Yet, in the underworld, safety is an illusion. No matter how far he ran, the shadows of Glasgow followed him, a persistent reminder.
Shocking incident by any standards, even by the standards of this long-running feud between the Daniel and Lyons family, which dates back almost 25 years. There's been an escalation of this feud in the past 3 months, and it appears to have climaxed almost with this horrific incident on Saturday night in the Spanish resort of Fuengirola. Around about 11:30, customers were in Monaghan's bar in Fuengirola, just on the kind of beachfront, or near the beachfront. It's owned by Ross Monaghan, a key member of the Lyons crime family at the time. He's in the bar with close associate and Lyons family member Eddie Lyons Jr. It's about 11:30.
That old scores are rarely settled without blood. Eddie Lyons Jr., born into one of Scotland's most notorious crime families, had connections that stretched from the streets of Glasgow to cocaine trafficking routes running from Morocco to the UK. Spain was no stranger to criminals like him. The Costa del Sol had long been a refuge for exiled Scottish gangsters, where luxury penthouses doubled as safe houses and exclusive beach clubs served as boardrooms. Surveillance later revealed Eddie Jr. meeting known traffickers from the Netherlands and Ireland, proving that family and business ties were inseparable. The reach of Glasgow's criminal networks was global, with operations spanning borders and oceans, and no paradise was safe from their influence. The aftermath in Fuengirola resembled a war zone. Police cars and emergency services converged on the scene, tourists scattered in panic, and the bar's interior was littered with shattered glass and bloodstains. The shooter had left no evidence behind, moving with the precision of a trained operative. Interpol and the UK's National Crime Agency were alerted immediately, recognizing the signature of a professional hit squad, likely ordered from Glasgow or Amsterdam, where the Lyons-Daniel feud had simmered for years. It was evident this was no random act of violence, but a carefully orchestrated message sent across countries. The feud that had ignited this tragedy began 2 decades earlier over drugs, debts, and territory. What started as a local dispute escalated into a brutal war, leaving behind a trail of burned vehicles, shootings, and assassinations. Generations of family members inherited the grudges, ensuring the conflict would never truly die. Every act of violence in Spain reflected those unresolved battles back in Glasgow, proving that some rivalries are larger than a single lifetime. For those who understood the underworld, the murders were a continuation of a saga that spanned decades, locations, and families. Investigators found evidence that both victims had been under surveillance for days prior to the attack. Footage showed a black BMW following them through Fuengirola, while witnesses described a calm, methodical shooter who executed the plan without hesitation. Experts speculated the hitman might have been hired from Eastern Europe, a region known for providing ex-special forces operatives to organized crime syndicates. The getaway car was later found burned in Torremolinos, a classic tactic to destroy evidence. High-level financiers, possibly hiding behind front companies and cryptocurrency accounts, likely backed the operation, making it a meticulously planned international crime. The news of the murders sent shockwaves through Glasgow's criminal hierarchy. Police increased patrols in gang neighborhoods, anticipating retaliation, while the feud between the Lyons and Daniels reignited with fresh intensity. For the Spanish public, it was a stark reminder that the Costa del Sol's glamorous villas and sandy beaches were often facades for a hidden criminal world. Law enforcement saw undeniable proof that organized crime had become global, with leaders operating via encrypted devices, offshore accounts, and outsourced violence, proving that no corner of Europe was immune. Weeks later, life on the Costa del Sol returned to an uneasy calm. The bar reopened, tourists resumed their strolls along the promenade.
The feud in March this year, where members of the Daniel family and their associates, both in Edinburgh and Glasgow, were targeted in a series of firebombings and other attacks. Now, this included members of the Daniel family such as Stephen Daniel and Robert Daniel, also included female family members, an elderly person and a young child. Now, this seems to appears to involve a new figure that's appeared in the last few years.
And the streets appeared peaceful. Yet locals whispered about the events of that night in hushed tones. And for those who knew the history, the echoes of gunfire were a chilling reminder that violence can strike anywhere. The ghosts of Glasgow's underworld remained ever present, and paradise could transform into a battlefield in the blink of an eye. The murders of Ross Monaghan and Eddie Lyons Jr. proved a chilling reality. Glasgow's gangland had never truly died. It had merely relocated. Spain had become a temporary refuge and ultimately, the final stage where fate caught up with its players. The intricate web of revenge, loyalty, and betrayal had followed them across Europe, ensnaring them in a world from which there was no escape. Some battles are so deep-rooted that distance, wealth, or lifestyle cannot protect anyone from their consequences. If stories like this fascinate you, the hidden empires, the global underworld, and the real stories behind the headlines, make sure to subscribe to Crime Cipher and ring the bell icon. Every story reveals what mainstream news ignores and the shadows refuse to forget. The underworld never sleeps, and we'll bring you the truth from every corner of it. Remember, for those who live by crime, escape is always temporary, and the past has a long memory that stretches across continents.